Hey guys, welcome back to Sew-Cro-Knits. My name is Yanni. This is the third episode. It's been a while since I recorded. I think the last time I recorded might have been in September, and the intention was to record every 2 weeks. I mean, the minimum once a month, and I don't know what happened. I just got into this. Every weekend was busy. Every time I wanted to record, something wasn't right, and I just never got around to it. I wanted to record an episode after Rhinebeck, and I totally didn't do it. I got some stuff from Rhinebeck, and I didn't even record what I got there. My intentions were to record while I was there, and I didn't. But either way, I'm recording now, and I'm hoping that some of you came back to see my third video, hopefully in what will be more often recordings or just episodes. Anyway, I am on Instagram and Ravelry, both as Yin Yang Kitty. I will link it somewhere in here. Again, my name is Yanni, and yeah, I have been just in a, I don't want to say in a funk. I don't know. I've been knitting, I've been crocheting, I've been doing a lot and not getting anything done. So I started a project, I put it down, I started another one instead of just kind of finishing off the stuff that I really had to finish. Now, that being said, I have finished 99.9. Two of the things that I had been working on that I did mention in my first and second episode, and I guess maybe I should just start the episode with that. So I remember that I had, I don't know if maybe I'll have a picture and I'll post it in here somewhere or link it, whether it's now or at the end of the video. I'll post some pictures. I had crocheted a poncho, and that thing has been around forever, and I was supposed to finish it because I needed some buttons, and I had gotten some buttons at like Joann's or whatever and never put them on. I don't know why, because maybe I felt like the buttons weren't good enough or they just weren't right. Every time I went to put them on, I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'll wait because I'll find some nicer buttons. Well, I did find nicer buttons. We were at Rhinebeck this year, and we went into one of the shops. I'm so sorry, I have to apologize if you hear scratching or meowing. My cat is at the door and she's trying to get in the room, and yeah, so if you hear noises, it might be my younger one, it might be my cat, it might be my dog, I don't know. So just please, hopefully there won't be a lot of background noise. Oh yeah, and by the way, I do apologize. My last video I recorded outside, and I did say that I was gonna try as much as I could to kind of take the background noise off, and somehow, I don't know what happened, the background noise still came up really clear. So hopefully this time it's nighttime here, and I have a little bit of time by myself, so I kind of just came in my room and I figured I'd just record. So anyway, back to the poncho. We were at Rhinebeck, and I found some buttons. They were wood buttons, and they were over at one of the places that sells, they have yarn and they have other stuff, but it was one of the barns towards the back, and they had on the second level, they had this lady that had I don't remember if she actually had kind of like she had buttons, but she also had like, I don't know if they were like little crystals or like crystallized like buttons to put on there. I don't know. Either way, I picked up 2 or 3 buttons, and I'm really excited. I'm going to put those on the poncho. I'll take a picture and hopefully insert the picture of the poncho finished and completed. Next was the shawlette, scarflet, whatever you want to call it, that I had been knitting on forever. I had anticipated that I was going to use 3 skeins or 3 balls of the yarn that I was using, and I ended up buying like maybe like 5 or 6, because it just kept, it was never finished, but it was too long, and I couldn't leave it where it was because it wasn't going to look right, so I had to keep going out and getting. Luckily, it was a readily available yarn, so I kept getting skeins and I kept buying it, and finally I just had to cut it somewhere, and I was like, all right, that's it. I am not knitting on this anymore. And all I have to do is crochet a pretty border around it. And so I started that, but I didn't bring to show because I was just like, you know what, I have to get this done before I even show it the next time. So I will post a picture again of the finished product, hopefully in this video. If not, I'm working on trying to navigate Ravelry. I know that I had mentioned that last time. I joined Ravelry about like 1 or 2 years ago, but for some reason I'm not as active as I should be, and I really want to post my projects, my picture. I mean, I have projects that I like. You know how you can put like favorites on there, I think it is, but I've done none of them. And so I want to post the ones that I have done, so at least I can have pictures of the projects that I have completed. Again, I want to remind everybody, I am a beginner knitter. I've crocheted a little bit, but I am not an expert or a pro at crochet. I've just been crocheting leisurely for a long time. And I have a few things, like, you know, hopefully I'm getting better, but I have a few things that I have to post on Ravelry. So moving on, we mentioned the poncho, we mentioned the gray shawlette, scarflet, whatever it was that I was trying to make. I had mentioned on my last video that I wanted to crochet a sweater. I think it was a sweater with a cowl. It was like a removable cowl, and I had seen that on the, excuse me, let me get the magazine, on the fall crochet, what is it, Love of Crochet. And I want to say it's this one that's on the cover right here. And so I had mentioned that I wanted to make it, and I had bought yarn for it and stuff like that. And I cast on because I figured I was finishing up the shawlette that I was doing, and I had done, I had finished up a hat, 2 hats actually. And so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make this sweater, because I had mentioned hopefully that by October or November it would be finished and I could wear it for the fall. And I had gotten a really pretty purple color for it for the fall, and I never finished it. I didn't even get past the first row. Yeah, so here it is. Let me see if I could find the picture, because I really I wanted to show you guys which one it was, and it's right here. It's this pretty, I don't know if you can see it. Maybe the lighting. Yeah, forgive my lighting, guys. I am still in the process of trying to get the right lighting, and I'm hoping that my next investment will be some lighting to record. I have an area down in my basement where I have set up as my craft area, sewing, and maybe somewhere I can record. And the lighting is just, it's okay, but it's not that great. And so I'm working on probably getting a background or maybe getting a light so that I can better record videos. But for tonight, I'm in my room, and my house is, it's an older house. So the lighting is a dimmer lighting, and I'm hoping that this doesn't come across that bad, because I have this lamp and I know there's a glare back here. So if that bothers you, I'm sorry. So anyway, hopefully this lighting. This is the sweater, and it has a cowl right there that's removable, and so that's the one that I wanted to make, right? And so I bought this yarn, and it's an acrylic yarn, and I got it because I've crocheted things, but I've never crocheted a full sweater. And I had mentioned before in my videos, sometimes I get really intimidated and I have really nice yarn, and so instead of, I don't know, maybe it's mental, maybe it's just a mental thing that I'm thinking about, but it's in my mind, instead of messing up really nice yarn that I've bought, I'll use from my stash, or if I just feel like it, I'll go and grab some nice soft acrylic yarn if I can find some really nice soft one that's not too scratchy. And so I figured I wanted to do this one because I wanted to see if I can actually crochet the full sweater and how would it come out. So I picked up this, this is Red Heart Soft, and it's in the colorway Grape. So it's in the color, and it actually looks grape. So, oh wait, I almost moved it, and that was the actual color. So it's almost like, I don't want to say it's an eggplant. It's not like an aubergine. It's literally like a grape color. And I'm trying to see if maybe, I mean, it looks purple. I'm just trying to see if maybe if I move it around a little bit, if the color comes out. Oh, I think there it is. That's literally the color. It's like a dark purple. It looks like, you know, I don't want to say Barney because it's not a Barney color, but that's the color. Anyway, see, I have the hook on here. And this is as far as I have gotten. Okay, that's the bottom of the sweater. And I got past the first row. Here, let me hold on to where my crochet is. I got past the first row. This was the first row. And this end over here is where I'm supposed to be putting the stitch marker to connect, because, you know, it's going to be in the round, I guess. But this is, I think it's like crochet, like, I think you crochet like 2, then skip 1, then crochet 3, like double, you know, half double crochet, then, you know, there's like skip a couple chains, and then you do like a 1, 2, 3, 4, like a 7. And it's fairly easy, and the directions are fairly easy. And like I said, this is just the first row, so it really doesn't look like much. Right now it looks pretty big. I don't know if it was going to be like a slouchy sweater. I am not very thin, but I'm not curvy either, and I kind of have I'd say that my up top, I feel like I'm just a little boxier. Not that I'm full boxy. I mean, not that I don't have any curve either. I just feel like this is probably why I cast on all these stitches. And then when I looked at it, I went, I think I might rip back, because I think I want to knit the smaller size. And I want to say I knit it on the mediums for the medium instructions, and I don't know, I think it's too big. I mean, even if I put it here, like let's say I'm putting it over my head, it's way, I mean, I could always use it as like a slouchy sweater, which I don't mind either, because it's gonna have, it's not a tightly crocheted sweater, it's gonna have holes. I can use it as a slouchy sweater, and I could put something underneath, like a t-shirt or like a tank top or whatever. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll leave it like that. Maybe I'll rip back and see how, if it comes in a little more, I might like that better. But either way, I just never got around to it, and I was supposed to make it because I really did want to wear it for the fall. And this color is really a nice fall color, but I guess that's not happening. And if I do crochet it, I'm gonna have to save it for when the weather does get cooler, because even though you know, I know there's people that tend to wear certain colors certain time of the year, and sometimes I am a traditionalist in that way, where I tend to wear lighter colors in the spring and summer, and then wear darker colors during fall and winter. But I have my moments where, you know, that whole, like, I should say, I tend not to wear white during the winter unless it's like a cream, or like Christmas or New Year's. I can probably go ahead and justify. But I know there's people that won't wear, you know, that whole Labor Day, like don't wear white after Labor Day and blah blah blah. So I pretty much keep to that. Once in a blue moon, I have worn a pair of white pants with like a black shirt or black boots or black whatever for an occasion during the winter, but very seldom. So because I feel like that's purple, and it's more like it's a darker purple, I feel like it's more suited for like the fall or something like that. And I'm sorry if I'm looking this way, I don't know why I'm doing that. Anyway, I will figure that. The reason why I never finished that, I'm gonna tell you why, guys. Because in that same book, my plan was, see, I get big plans. You guys are gonna be like, this chick has to get a hold of herself because she's just wanting to do everything and she's doing nothing. I always say that at work, I'm like, in doing everything, I feel like I'm doing nothing because I'm doing 10 things at the same time, but I'm not finishing any of them. So anyway, in the same magazine, I thought to myself, oh, for the fall, I have the perfect little outfit. So I had the purple sweater going on, right? And then I saw this, they have a pattern for fingerless mitts and a hat. And I thought to myself, man, wouldn't it be nice if I crocheted a hat and fingerless mittens to wear with that sweater when we go apple picking or when we go for a long walk, you know, crunching on the leaves. Real cute, right? I had it all here set up in my head. And the hat that I was going to, well, that I am, because I actually started the hat that I wanted to make was the pumpkin pie hat. Pumpkin pie slouchy hat. And it was in that same magazine. And here it goes. Look at how cute she looks with it. Isn't that cute? Look at how adorable her hat is. And so, and look at the mitts right next to it. So I thought to myself, yeah, girl, you can do that. Look at that. A hat with the gloves. And so my color scheme was, I planned, well, I actually started it, was to make, see, I started it, guys. I just haven't finished it. So this is the top of the hat. And it still needs some work. It's actually starting to turn down now where it's gonna kind of slouch a little bit. But this is the color that I picked. Look at how nice. Because I thought to myself, what prettier autumn colors would go together than the purple and its gold color. Right? So I was gonna wear the sweater in this color and I was gonna have the hat and the fingerless mitts in this color. And this is actually, let me get stuff straight here, guys. I'm so sorry. This colorway is actually, here it goes. It's Charisma Tweed in the colorway, I'll tell you right now, which is the colorway Honey. It's in the color Honey. And that actually, when you look at it, that's kind of like what I think about. It's like an amber honey color. And so I thought amber honey color hat with mitts and my purple sweater. And this is actually the label. See, that comes through the Charisma. And it's, let me see if I can get that. Whoa, okay. I'm recording on my iPhone, so I don't even know if focus is a thing on an iPhone, which might not be. But it's in the color Honey. So hopefully, you know, it's Charisma. And I think this one was at, I actually on a whim went to a Michael's at lunchtime near my workplace. And so while I was in there, that's when I had the bright idea of picking up the acrylic yarn for my sweater and for my gloves and hat. So that's why I picked up, this is the Charisma and this is the Red Heart Soft. Needless to say, I never finished them. My big bright idea for my fall sweater and my apple picking or whatever. And sorry, my hair's just a little messy today, but anyway. So that's what I did not finish. But I definitely will be working on that because I do want to finish it, regardless if I leave it for this next fall season coming up. I'm gonna finish it. So one of the other things that I was had been working on just to practice was I don't know if I had mentioned this in my first or second episode, but I had picked up, or I had some yarn from Hobby Lobby, and I don't know about you guys, but if anybody's ever bought yarn from Hobby Lobby, they have a yarn, and I want to say, I don't remember if this was the I Love That Yarn. It's their brand. It's I Love That Yarn, but I don't remember if that was actually the one. It's I Love That Yarn Soft, When I tell you that this yarn is probably the softest acrylic yarn that I have felt to date. And that even includes like the softest Lion brand I've ever bought. And even this soft from Red Heart, it's soft. But this Hobby Lobby yarn, if you haven't tried it, like, go pick some up. If you guys, if you guys don't mind knitting with acrylic, or if you guys are just like, maybe on a budget, like all of us are sometimes, and you want to just pick up something that's not as expensive. And sometimes they have really good sales, guys, so don't forego like going there and checking stuff out. This yarn is, man, it's soft. Anyway, I forgot the colorway, and I know it's somewhere, and maybe I'll link it below if I get the color. But I had figured I'd do one of these for my daughter, and actually came out a little big. But you know what? She doesn't mind wearing it because she wears it as a slouchy hat. And it has like blues and these like, I don't know, like sour apple greens and purples, and then I did the ribbing down here. I think I want to say, was it a 2x? Yeah, a knit 2 purl 2 down at the ribbing. But it's really cute. Oh, there it goes. Yep, that's the color. And it's actually really soft, and it's one of those, it's probably one of the first hats that she's had, or that I've even tried on, that isn't itchy. I don't know about anybody else, but I have a thing with hats. I love wearing hats, but I usually, if I wear my hats, I like hats that I can, like a slouchy hat that I can like pull up to here, because sometimes, even though I love the way hats look like when you pull down a hat, I get really itchy right here. And I don't know if it's because of the material, if I haven't found a material that doesn't bother me, or if it's just me. Because to be honest with you, I'm sorry, I'm just taking a sip of my decaf. I don't know if it's just me, but even when I wear my cap, like I have a cap, I don't wear many caps, but I have a cap that once in a blue moon, if I need to run out on a Saturday morning, go food shopping, and I do not want to do my hair, I just pull my hair back and I put the cap on. And I want to say like an hour in, you see me like fidgeting with the hat and like itching right here. Like my forehead just, I don't know. And I put moisturizer, whatever, it just bothers me. So a slouchy hat like this is usually typically like where I would like to start it. But this yarn, I even tried it and it's not itchy. I mean, I still don't wear a hat that long because I just maybe realize it just gets itchy. But I go ahead and try this yarn. This yarn is super soft. Like right now I'm sitting here and I'm like, ooh, this is soft. But yeah, but this was cute. So I finished this hat, so that was an accomplishment. I just did regular knit, and then I decreased on the top and just did a regular, I just pulled it in at the end as I decreased, and then I just tied it in right here on the inside. And that's what I did on that. Yeah, when I went to Rhinebeck, I wanted to mention to you guys, I picked up some stuff, and maybe I'll put it, I mean, I want to say I might have, I don't remember if I posted a picture on my Instagram or not, but I did pick up a few things. And one of the things that I picked up was, we went into, one of the back barn, whatever, and she was there last year and the year before, and I went by the booth, and I was like, oh yeah, and there were so many people, I just kind of like, we'll come back around later, and I just never did. And last year I told myself, I'm gonna stop here, I don't care how many people are in there. And luckily this year, it might have been like around maybe lunchtime or something when I went in. There was a lot of people in there, but there was enough room where I could still look around. And one of the yarns that caught my eye right away was this colorway. And I'm gonna try it. Oh, there it goes. This thing, I saw it from like far away, and she has like all her mixed, I don't know, it was so cute. And she had a lot of rainbow-ish dyed skeins like this, but this one, I don't know, I'm trying to see if I can, this is probably the best. I don't know, something like triggered me going, ooh, what's that? And I looked over, and this was actually, let me see, I want to say the company is, okay, the Great Adirondack Yarn Company Inc. And this is the label. Here, let me move my finger so you can actually see. Oh, I wish there was a way to, I don't know if this thing is focusing, but again, Great Adirondack Yarn Company Inc. And this is in her Zulu 2, like Roman numeral 2 colorway. And when I saw this, I actually picked up the skein, and she had them kind of mounted up on the table, and I dug and dug and dug because I could not find another skein. And I'm guessing if she had several of these, people just grabbed them, and I was just lucky to find, you know, the one that I had. And so she had other brighter rainbow colors, and these are like muted rainbow colors. I think that's why I like them so much. I don't know why. I don't know if I tend to be a muted color person or not, but she had bright rainbows. This muted rainbow was just like, oh man, I like it. So either way, I picked this one up, and so I started digging around. And so I even had my husband look, and I'm like, oh my God, don't tell me she doesn't have another one of these. And, you know, I was going to buy this one anyway. I said, you know what, worst case scenario, I'll make a hat, or I'll make gloves, or whatever. And then I thought to myself, oh, you know what, worst case scenario, I'll go online and I'll buy more yarn. So I dug, and out of the corner of my eye, like down in the depths of like some little pile she had, there was a little piece sticking out, and I grabbed it, and it was a second skein. And it was kind of like a little disheveled looking. It wasn't twisted, and you know, she kind of fixed it for me and stuff, but people had gone through it. So I got a second skein, and so I was so excited. And so I picked it up, and I'm like, I gotta make something nice with this. I'm still on the fence. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I thought to myself, I'm gonna make myself a hat and some gloves or mittens, you know, fingerless mittens, something. But I want to make something with this. And so the more I think about it, the more I almost want to make a sweater with this, or like a really big, nice shawl that I actually take on. So I'm probably gonna go online and see if she has this colorway, because I think I want to order a few more. I like them a lot. And it's this is worsted silk merino, so it's really nice. And let me see, she doesn't have, it's 217 yards. And then, sorry guys if you hear that, that's my cat. Yeah, worsted silk merino, and I really like it. It's super soft. And so, funny story, when I was thinking of making the hat and the gloves with this, I had gone downstairs to the basement, and I try to keep the cat out of the basement. She used to be allowed to go down there, but she's not allowed to go down there anymore. She stays down there forever. She rolls around in the soot, and she's black and white, so she comes back and her white is gray. And so she's just a little brat when she goes down there. So we've been keeping her upstairs. We don't let her go down to the basement. So needless to say, I was down there one day, and I had the door kind of closed a little bit, and I didn't realize it wasn't closed all the way so that she wouldn't go down there. And so I started winding this, you know, to cake it up, right? Look at how cute it looks caked up. Look at how pretty. So I started caking it up, right? And out of the corner of my eye while I'm caking this up, you know, I have it, because I don't have is it a Swift? Because I don't have one of those, I opened it up, and so I was kind of holding it like this, where it was like the circle was just hanging on my arm, and so I was winding with this hand, and so I kept going like this, and I was like, you know, all careful, and out of the corner of my eye, I see a little cat shadow, and I was like, oh my goodness, no, the cat came down. And literally, it only took like 2 seconds of me looking away while I still had the yarn hanging. And so this is caking up over here, right? And this somehow happens. So this thing happens, and this thing was still connected to this. So it kind of looked like this. Yeah, guys. And so it took, I want to say 3 days for me to decide, girl, just cut it off. Cut it off so that you can try. I sat on the couch for a whole night and I tried and tried and tried to take this thing apart, and it just wouldn't. I cried. I was like, no, I wanted it to cake up really nice, and it just didn't. And so I had to cut it off. And so once I cut it off, I started from one end and just oh, there it goes. Started winding a little ball. And so I still have this, but it doesn't seem as bad now, but look at that wad. And so I was really upset because this is like nice yarn, and I was like, no. Yeah, so I have to now take my time with this and finish unwinding it. But in the meantime, while I was doing that, I think when I decided, I kept unwinding it and I kept pulling it out, and I'm like, wow, this is really pretty. That's when I think I decided I need to go on her online and see if she has it, because I think I want to make a sweater. The more I think about it, the more I want to make a sweater with it. And I don't even know, because I haven't made a sweater yet, guys. Anyway, moving on. I want to say, I can't say I don't have acquisitions, because I would be lying. I had stuff that I bought at Rhinebeck. I went to Webb's in Massachusetts. So for like a year now, we had gone to Yankee Candle, what is it called? The flagship store, the big outlet store out in Deerfield, Mass. And so I remember going by there last year and seeing a huge sign that there was a Webb's that had opened up in Massachusetts. And I was like, what? I didn't know that they had, we had one that close to here. And so I kept telling myself, I want to go. So anyway, last year, after we came back from Yankee Candle, my husband surprised me. He's like, we're going to go stop at that yarn store that you keep saying, oh, look at the billboard. So we actually stopped, and man, it was great. My mom was with me, and my mom, like I was telling you guys, she's an avid crocheter, and she just started knitting, and she's better than me. But anyway, she was with me, so she was actually pretty excited. She got to experience the store with me for the first time. We were all excited. She went in the back. They have like this, kind of outlet type shelves where they have stuff on sale, and she was like a kid in the candy store. But we stopped, and we weren't there too long because we were already tired from being out all day and walking around. But we did spend, I want to say, a good hour there. And so while I was there, man, guess what I picked up? Now, I had been wanting to order it online, and I know people, I can just order it online and just be like, yeah, that's fine. I just didn't, I guess every time I looked at it, if I bought some, I would have, you got to pay shipping, and I really didn't want to order whenever I needed some, I didn't really need to order a lot. So every time I went to order some, I would have to pay for shipping and handling and stuff like that. And so when I went, I was really excited because I found, and I hear everybody talking about this. I hear, you great people, you great knitters, you sock knitters out there talking about this yarn, and I hadn't picked up one yet. And I was able to pick up some, and I don't know if I'm saying this right, Regia or Regia, however you pronounce it. I was able to pick some up. I was so excited because I've seen some of the socks that you guys have knitted up, and they're how they're self-striping, some of them, or some of them even have like cute little designs on them. And I've been wanting to get my hands on some of these. And so this says that one ball will make 2 socks. I'm hoping, I mean, I'm sure that's true, but because I'm a beginner knitter, for some reason I don't know, I tend to knit my socks big. I don't know what's going on. I keep doing the same number that some of the patterns say, like, you know, cast on 62 for this size, or cast on 50, whatever. And I always feel like they come out big. Like, I feel like they come out like, you know, the house socks that you want to wear. Like, not socks that you want to wear with your shoes. I feel like they come out like super thick. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on with that. But anyway, I picked some up, and I'm going to try to make some socks with these. Well, actually, I'm not going to try. I am going to make socks with these. I just have to figure out a number and a needle that'll work for me so that I can make the socks a perfect size. So yeah, I picked this up in, which colorway did I pick this up in? Let's see here. Oh, color. So I guess these are numbers. I know people mentioned that before. So this color, the number is 07121. There it goes. And the other one I picked up is 07118, which is the blue with the, the blue with the stripes on it. And this one is kind of like, they had those little, like, I don't know, kind of looks like a Farrell type of design. I don't know. But I was really excited. Yay! And I picked up 2. So, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I think that would be it for acquisitions for this, you know, for this recording. I had picked some up. So, okay, so this is a dilemma I'm having, and I know I mentioned this to you guys a while back. So I had mentioned the dilemma about my socks. I had started some socks. I actually finished a few pair, but they weren't perfect pairs. And I was okay with it because they were my first pairs of socks. They were, you know, I'm a beginner knitter. When it comes to socks, I was having a lot of trouble getting to the heel and forming the heel and so forth. Sorry about that, guys. My cat was at the door, like I was telling you guys before, and she's just being a pain in the butt. So anyway, I was talking about the socks. So my dilemma with the socks is that when I get to the heel part, I was having a hard time when I started knitting back in the round. And so I've been on and off playing around with it. Then I remember I mentioned to you guys I started knitting the Afterthought heel socks, and that kind of went well. I still have a pair that I have to knit the heels. I finished the socks. I just haven't knit the heel yet. And so I had put socks away for a while. Like I told you guys, I don't know if I was in a knitting funk or if I was just like, whatever. When I get to it, I get to it. When I feel like knitting, I knit. When I feel like crocheting, I crocheted. And it was kind of very leisurely in the last few months. I didn't take anything seriously or like had any urgency to finish anything that I was doing. So the other day I picked up my, I think they were Haya Sharp. So I went to this little store and I picked up these, no, I'm lying. Rhinebeck. When I went to Rhinebeck, I actually found this. I had seen, was it on the Hey Sister podcast? I want to say, a while back, I had seen one of their episodes, and one of the sisters had mentioned that she had gotten that, and I don't know if it was a 9-inch circular that she had, but she was talking about how she was knitting socks and how she kind of liked it and stuff like that. And when I went to Rhinebeck, I found a pair. And I was like, yes, this is it. Because I learned on my double pointed, which was really weird for me because when I first started knitting socks, I was just having a really hard time. But anyway, I saw that, I think it's a 9-inch circular. And I was so excited. I was like, yes, I got me some Haya Sharps. Everybody's always talking about those needles and this is great and this and that. Well, I picked it up. And I started casting out and I was like, yeah, I think I could do this. And you know what? To be honest with you, I think that's probably going to be one of the ways that I casting on is going to become a little more easier for me, because even though I really like my double pointed needles, cast on for me is really fidgety. It's really wobbly. I don't know what it is. The first couple rows, I'm like, ugh, I can't wait to get through these first couple rows, and then after I'm fine. So I didn't mind the little circulars that I was using. So I actually started knitting some socks on them, and I realized after I was like this much into knitting the sock cuff down, that the sock again was coming out like bulky. I think that's the word I want to use. I feel like my socks are bulky. They're not tightly wound, and I don't have thicker legs. I think my ankles and my legs are fairly thinner, on a thinner side. And I felt like my socks were coming out like bulky, like almost as if I had bought bulky yarn and was knitting some socks up on bulky yarn, but the yarn wasn't bulky. So I realized after, like I said, I was this much kind of like off the cuff, that the inches were perfect, like the circular size was perfect, but the needle size wasn't. Because I picked up a 9-inch circular for, I want to say it's more like for a worsted weight yarn, because I think it's a number 4. Yeah, I think it's a US 4 9-inch circular, instead of being like a 2 or a 1 point whatever it is. So needless to say, the needle is a thicker needle. It's just on a 9-inch, little rope cable, whatever it's called. Yeah, so I know you guys are gonna laugh at me when you hear my story, because you know what? I'm still learning, guys. I'm a beginner knitter, remember? So anyway, I kind of laughed at myself for days on that one. And so the other day I told myself, you know what? Just buy some bulky yarn, right? If you're having trouble with the heels and you're having a hole, like you just can't, go ahead and buy yourself a little bit thicker yarn and knit it on those 9-inch circulars and on some other bigger double pointed needles that I had bought way back when I first started, and I didn't know anything about needle size, and I was just eager to start knitting on double pointed, and then I picked up any size, and then I thought, oh yeah, this is nice, this feels nice on my hands. Yeah, no. So I did that. So this weekend I went again, like I always do, and I figured for practice, I walked into Michael's at lunchtime and I got myself some practice yarn for the socks, for the thicker, for number 4 needles that I had gotten. So I picked up some worsted. I think this is considered worsted. I don't know, maybe sport. No, the sport I think is probably the one that I want to try next. I'm thinking of going down the yarn sizes as I learn and get better with the whole heel part and the sock part, and just getting familiar with it. So I picked up some Vanna's Choice because somebody was raving about Vanna's Choice the other day on one of the podcasts. I forgot what the podcast name is. I'll link it below. But I think she's British. She's out in England. And she was talking about how she had knitted herself a hat. And she used Vanna's Choice. And she said it was surprisingly comfy as a hat. So I said, you know what? I need the size, the actual size. And I didn't want to pay a lot of money. I'm not even going to lie. And this was on sale. They had it for like $3.49. So I picked up a number 4 in these 2 colors. Right here. Wait. Yeah. And this one is, just in case you guys want to know, this is the Sage colorway in Vanna's Choice. This is a number 4 yarn. Yep. And then this one is linen. The same size, number 4 at Vanna's Choice. So I picked these 2 up. And for my thick needles that I bought, I started practicing. Woohoo. I don't know if that deserves a woohoo, but here it goes, guys. And so, yeah, it's still a thicker sock. But these are definitely meant to be house socks. So it's not like I'm trying to knit socks to wear my shoes and then they turn out to be this thick. These are actually being knit purposely this thick. And I want, when I feel the yarn like here, it's really soft, right? But then as I knit it up, not that it's not soft, it just feels a little crunchy. And I'm guessing it's because now it's being knit tighter together than when you feel it here, is why it feels like this. But again, it's just gonna be for house socks to wear around the house. And for me to practice this, because this area here is where, when I'm trying to knit with the thinner yarn, you know what, I think, to be honest with you, I'm gonna be more of a sport weight sock knitter, and maybe the one that goes before that one. The kind of lace weight, and I don't know, I like it. I just, maybe because I'm just starting off, I just feel like it's so thin it gets lost in my fingers and in my needles. And I have needles that are really thin now. I bought some carbons and I have the perfect size for the perfect yarn. I matched it up. I realized that later on that you have to match up your needles with the yarn's, size or whatever. But I have a hard time with the kind of like lace weight type of yarn getting past like this area. This area here is just a drag for me. And so I told myself, you have to keep practicing, repeat this over and over and over on some type of yarn where you get so used to it that you're not going to mind once you start going back down to that type of lace weight or thinner, yarn. So I was really excited because when I knit this up, it wasn't as hard, guys. And maybe, like I said, maybe because it's on the thicker yarn. This is worsted, or so they say on the thing, on the label. So it wasn't as bad, and I like the way it looks. It actually looks like, a rib, where sometimes with my lace weight, I would do like, knit 2, purl 2, or knit 3, purl 3, and somehow halfway through, I'd mix them up, and I'd be like purl 2 instead of knit 2, and then and so it would look like boxes instead of the rib, and I would get really frustrated and I'd pull it out. So I'm really excited about this, even though these are going to be house socks. So yeah, I'm really super excited. And I should have known better from the beginning to start off maybe on some thicker yarn. I heard one of the guys, oh my goodness, and I'm so sorry. I am awful for remembering names, but he's out in Canada. Oh my goodness, what is his name? I'm going to link him below because I really like his podcast. But I remember one of his first podcasts that I saw, he was saying how he had gone to a class to learn how to knit socks, and they had knit some house socks or some socks on thicker yarn. And I should have known that when I heard that, and I never put 2 and 2 together. I don't know, maybe because, I don't know, I'm a little, stuff comes to me a little later than I guess the normal person. So either way, this is my sock, and I'm really excited. I think I'm gonna knit on it a little bit more before I start the heel. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I'm actually liking it. So hopefully, as I practice more on that, my sock dilemma I've had a sock dilemma for a very long time, and I am determined to learn how to knit socks where I could just be anywhere and be like, yeah, sure, I'll make you a pair of socks. I'm going to get there, guys. Don't worry about it. So for now, I think that's all I kind of have. I did jump on the bandwagon. And again, I should have brought it up, but I didn't. I just pulled myself together today. This is, this podcast was actually like I've been telling myself you need to record a podcast for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I'm like, girl, you need to record a podcast. Yeah, I'll do it this weekend. I'll do it this weekend. And this weekend comes and goes and I never record. And so today was one of those days where, you ever meet that type of person or are you that type of person that you're scheduled and there's certain things that okay, this I'm going to get done. And then there's just days where you wake up and on a whim, you're like, this is what I'm doing. And it just feels right. And that's what you do. It's not like, oh, I planned that on this day I'm going to record. No, it's just kind of like so I guess that's my personality. Like there's things that I know that I have to schedule and I do on whenever I schedule it. But for the most part, like for stuff like this, or even like if I want to go somewhere or if I want to do something, if it doesn't feel right that day, I'm like, yeah, no, today's the perfect day. And it just doesn't happen. And then there's just days where I'm just like, yeah, like I got some time. Let's do this. And that's what happened today. I'm sorry about the clapping. I don't know what's wrong with me, but maybe it's the coffee I'm drinking late at night. But it is decaf. So I'm thinking it's probably the sugar instead of the because there's no caffeine in here. Anyway, I kind of forgot what I was talking about, but either way, I recorded the episode. So that's why I didn't have any show notes, or I didn't get myself together as much as I should have, but I did. And I don't think this thing happened this year. I don't know if it's a yearly thing that happens, but I happened to catch somebody, okay, that's what it was. It was a post. I think Kristen from the Yarngasm podcast, she had posted on Instagram a dress that she made. I think it was called the Moneta dress. And so I saw it and I was like, that's a cute dress. So I looked it up. And then I guess she had mentioned that somebody else, one of the other podcasters, had said that she had sewed herself one of those dresses. And so I started looking it up. And then I realized, I didn't know this, that there was like, I guess a sew along a few months back, or like the same time this year, it was last year, something like that, where it was like everybody was having like a Moneta dress party. And I was like, what? But the dress looked really nice. That was one of the only reasons why I looked it up, because the shape of the dress was really pretty and simple. And so I sew here and, well, I shouldn't say I sew here and there. I do sew. I'm not a seamstress or anything like that, but I do sew. So I've sewn a couple dresses and a couple skirts. And when I saw the dress, I was like, wow, that's nice. And I think she mentioned how it was an easy kind of like beginner sewing type of dress. So I looked at some podcasts, I looked up the pattern, I went on the actual website and I looked at it and I kind of toyed with it for a while. Like, should I get it? Should I not get it? Should I even try to, sew on this? I don't think I ever sewed on jersey. I mean, I had done some apparel fabrics before, but nothing. I don't think I ever did jersey. I actually had jersey material because I had bought it wasn't Berta. It was maybe like a new look pattern for a simple jersey, like just like a knit dress. It was kind of like, boxy square, simple, you sew the front, sew the back, and you're good to go. And so I have the pattern and I had the material, but I had never done anything with it. So when I saw this, I was like, you know what? Let me try it out, because maybe they say it's a great beginner pattern. So I actually ordered it. I printed out, they sent me the email, I printed it out, and I actually bought the actual the actual pattern. Man, when I tell you guys, they were right. Everybody on YouTube and everybody on Instagram was so right about this dress. It is very easy. If you sit and you read the instructions, and again, it was one of those patterns, guys, I don't follow patterns because my attention span is really short. But it was a pattern that I actually read, understood, and got through. So I was so excited. I actually sewed up the dress and I bought a hunter green jersey knit, and I love hunter green. I think it's one of the prettiest colors. Anyway, I made the dress. The only thing was that I was toying with the idea of when you kind of sew the edge of the dress, you know, you could do, you know, you could iron it and then sew the brim, which is really pretty. For some reason, I had this bright idea that I was going to cut out a piece of fabric, and instead of folding and making a hem kind of like around the neck, I decided I was going to cut a piece of fabric, fold it over, and sew it so it can look like it had just the teeniest, you know, like rib right here as a hem. And what I didn't notice was that I didn't sew it, so maybe it was too big of a piece versus a small piece like this. And so when I sewed it, it almost looks like kind of like a collar type, but it's not like a collar, you know what I'm saying? So there's like this much hem around it, and I'm actually going to take a picture now that the weather's been nice. I want to take a picture outside with the dress on, so I will post it at some point. Even if it's not in this video, I'll post it on my Instagram at some point. But it actually doesn't look bad. So I asked my husband and my daughter, I was like, what do you think about it with the collar? Should I take it out? My daughter was like, oh, take it out. My husband's like, you know, now that I look at it, it actually looks like it's part of the dress. So it really isn't part of the pattern, but it doesn't look bad. And so I'm like, should I like rip it out and just do the thing? I think I'm going to wear it with the collar. I'm going to take a few pictures, and then if I really don't like the way it looks, then I'll just go ahead and I'll just rip that out and then just go ahead and sew, you know, how it calls for. And I actually sewed I think it's the 3/4 sleeve, the longer version of it. And I kind of like it. It's not perfect, but it's not, I don't think you can notice the imperfections. I mean, unless you're like a seamstress and you're like eyeing me down, then I know somebody will notice, girl, you don't know how to sew. But, for the tip, you know, for the normal person, I don't think anybody will notice. And I think because the color of the dress is a darker color, like I said, it's like that hunter green color, it was very forgiving on any mistakes that I had done or any imperfections that the fabric might have had. So I'm really excited, to the point that I want to go back out and get some more fabric, because I really want to make a few more in different colors. It's one of those things that, just like they said, it's one of those dresses so versatile. You can like put it, you can dress it up, you can dress it down. It's comfortable for you to wear. You don't feel like it's all tight. You know how sometimes you make a dress or you buy a dress and like it's just uncomfortable. It's not that type of dress at all. So I was really excited about that. And I think that should be it. I don't have anything else that I think I want to mention other than if you're watching this, thank you for coming back. Again, I apologize for the huge gap in time of me recording. And again, that I didn't get myself together and have my notes and everything else set perfectly, excuse me, to do the podcast. Again, it was on a whim. I just had a little bit of time, and I'm like, you know what? If I don't do it now, I don't know when else I'm going to do it. But from now on, I think it has to be one of those things that I have to set some time aside just to do it. Again, if you guys want to catch me on Instagram and on Ravelry, it's Yin Yang Kitty. I do not have a Facebook. And I guess that should be it. So for now, I just want to say good night. If you're on the other side of the world, good morning or hello, how are you? And I guess I'll catch you guys on my next episode. Hopefully have a safe one, have a good one, and thanks for watching. Bye.